I want to congratulate you and We the World on the 20th anniversary of 11 days of global unity. Together, you, me, and we can create a better world and have fun doing it.
Thank you, Dr. Jane Goodell, for helping We the World and all our partners to celebrate over 20 years of 11 days of global unity. And thank you for joining us. Welcome to the 11 Days of Global Unity Summit. My name is Debra Emmanuelle, and I'm the Director of Strategic Engagement and International Outreach for We the World. Today, I'm excited that we will be joined by our special guest, Debra Emmanuelle, who will be talking about unity, the first theme of the 11 Days of Global Unity. For the 11 days schedule, you can register for free by going to 11daysofglobalunity.org. That's the numeral 11. There you will find access to all the 11 days broadcasts. You can also visit we.net to take action with the 11 campaigns for change, subscribe to Trans Magazine, and you can support this global network by contributing at we.net/donate. A heartfelt thank you to all of you who made this possible. Before we bring in our speaker, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some of our incredible partners who we support and collaborate with during the 11 Days of Global Unity and throughout the year. The UN International Day of Peace and NGO Committee, Peace Day Philly, the Unite for Peace Coalition, including Unity Earth, the Sign Network, One World, and Hubcast Media, the Awakening World, We the World, May Peace Prevail on Earth International, United Religions Initiative, Pathways to Peace, and Global Silent Minute, Children of the Earth, Climate Week, the Deep and Rapid Transformation Convergence, Sedona Soul Integration, Good News Broadcast in Times Square, and Pace e Bene Nonviolence Campaign. Together, these groups represent millions of people working to achieve global unity and peace. This movement is a living example of what becomes possible when we act from interdependence, compassion, and shared purpose, all working with We the World and the We campaign at we.net. Let's welcome our guest, Debra Emmanuelle, to today's panel, The Ultimate Alchemy, Turning Pain into Beauty for the Co-Creation of the New Earth. Debra Emmanuelle, welcome, Debra. Debra Emmanuelle is
Thank you so much.
It was such a pleasure to have you here. And let me introduce you, please, properly to our audience. Debra Emmanuelle is a non-denominational Minister of Peace, chaplain, Remembrance Facilitator, and Elder Council member who has offered spiritual guidance and healing since 1995. A gifted speaker and writer, she invites humanity to reconnect with its sacred bond with nature, Mother Earth, and all of life. With an MA in Sustainability Leadership from Arizona State University, Debra bridges spirituality, ecology, and peace, advancing education and advocacy for nature's, calling us to live in harmony with Earth and one another. Today, we open a conversation about transforming pain into beauty and how soul remembrance, community practices, and regenerative leadership can guide us in co-creating the new Earth. So it is my honor to welcome you, Debra, and who will lead us on this journey, showing us how pain can become purpose and how together we can step into a more harmonious and regenerative future. And the first thing I'd like to know before we go into your presentation is what was the seed or moment of inspiration that first gave birth to the ultimate alchemy? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that and then lead us into your presentation and into some samples.
Okay, thank you, Birgit. Back in 2021, I had a colleague that was that I had been working with on and off, and he asked me if I was interested in rewriting the Constitution of the United States. And I was a little surprised, but I said, sure, why not? And because clearly we're in a time where everything is changing, and that just made sense. So in the process of rewriting the Constitution, what came to me is a whole new way of organizing governance on every level, in medicine, in education, at every level, from a small microcosm to the whole macrocosm, the whole world. And so it just kind of dropped in, and I just kept writing and writing and writing. And the next thing I knew, the information, and at least some of the information that I'll be sharing with you today, came through.
That's beautiful. And I love the incentive of rewriting the Constitution, and that you took this even further. It's a beautiful idea. And obviously, as you know, I mean, we would love to hear some sample, maybe you can explain. I mean, obviously you won't be able to present to us the whole module. As far as I understand, it's a 13-month course that blends academic learning with soul remembrance, but perhaps you can explain us, and walk us through some models as an example.
Yes, I would be happy to do that. So what I can do is share my screen, and this is the whole course is a 13-month course that is 4 times a month. So that's the meeting schedule, and there's a lot of material in it that can't be covered in 1 hour, but I can give you an overview, and just so you can have a sense of what the purpose of it is, and whether people take the course or not, there is information in there that can be moved forward for anyone in any community at any level of governance. So let me share my screen. So as Brigitte shared, this whole idea is the ultimate alchemy, and love is an alchemist itself. And so we can, through the energy of love, we can turn pain into beauty with growth and expansion in our own consciousness for the co-creation of the new earth. And Buckminster Fuller's quotation is one of my favorites, but it very succinctly explains why this is important. So you never change things by fighting the existing reality. And I've been an activist for decades. I started out as an activist right out of the womb, I think. And I did a lot of fighting for justice and clean living, and it didn't work. And so what I realized is that to change anything, we need to build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. And that's exactly what this is. So it all begins with self-awareness. The more aware we are of self, the more we get to know, like Socrates said, know thyself. The more we are able to do that, we can step into higher and higher levels of consciousness, because the self-awareness is no different than our awareness of the entire cosmos, because we are that. And that's what this course really focuses on. So before any council is formed, before any task is delegated, there is a single sacred turning inward. The remembrance that we are each a microcosm of the whole. We are one of those lights in this picture. From this awareness, true co-creation begins, because we recognize that everything we do to each other, not just to ourselves and not just to nature, but to all life. So the journey begins at the very center, the center of that spiral that's going around and around. Each of us must come to know the pure center of our own being. And that's what this process supports people in doing. Only from this knowing can we recognize the pure center of all creation. This journey begins at the heart, the core, the spiral's origin point. Right in the center of that spiral is pure stillness, where all creation began. It's the origin point. And from that, all life, infinite life, has expanded. Inner purification is a master key for each and every one of us. We cannot revitalize a pure new earth while carrying remnants of the old. If we bring any remnants of the old into what we are wanting to be new, the old will follow us, and it won't be as pure as it could be if we started out from that pure space. Commitment to this path means a commitment to dissolving all that is not love within us. When only love and gratitude remain, purity is restored and mirrored outwardly. As within, so without. I'm sure some of you have heard that. That's just not a metaphor or a cool saying. You are the dot at the center of the cosmos. You are the entire cosmos. We are all one with that. See yourself as a spark at the center of the circle. And then feel the spiral within you, galaxies alive inside your cellular space. With every cell, every molecule of your body as one of those lights that you saw in the cosmos. You are not just in the universe. You are the universe. Inside and out, simultaneously, all at the same time, always, everywhere, as love, because that's what we were created as. And the circle, we spend a lot of time taking a look at the circle, how that center point sends energy out, equidistant from the center point. And every point along the edge of the circle is not a boundary, but it is an individualized point of light in its own right. And those individualized points along this circumference of the circle send light back into the center. So it's a self-regenerating, self-rejuvenating system within every circle, within every cell of your body, within every atom. It's all done in circles, created that way. So the foundations for co-creation are important. If we begin building on a foundation that is strong and clear, then what we build will be strong and clear. New systems require new ways of thinking. That's not new information. New thought requires open minds and open hearts, a curiosity and an unwavering, fearless desire to create something so right that the new creation logically inspires others to see the old system as obsolete. It just becomes pure logic. So one way to do this is to ensure that the newly inspired system is designed for the good of all, that it is 100% inclusive. No life is excluded. It's transparent, with the welfare and the sacredness of all life as the highest priority, preserving that sacredness, preserving that purity. And so the key principles and agreements that are part of this is, again, we've got a circle with points at the center and points along the circumference, each feeding each other. This is alive. Every circle, no matter what that circle looks like, is a live, pulsing being. There is consciousness to it. And because the energy comes out from the center and back to the center, that pulsing is constant. So a lot of the key principles are mentioned here. We don't have time to get into a lot of details about each one, and some of those will be in further slides. So, but just looking at this picture, this is just one portrayal of what the circle is. It's borderless, but yet it's a container. So we begin with a common vision. Any circle that comes together, any group of people who come together in circle with a common vision, there is a power in that. And the common vision, if it were, of a world rooted in love, guided by self-awareness, and governed by collective purpose, that's a very powerful meeting, because what we put in the center, what we focus on, we get more of. And what the common vision that we put into the center as a sacred purpose of the coming together of the points along the circumference of the circle, which are the people who are meeting in the circle, there's infinite support for us, because the entire universe kicks in to support that common mission. So some of the foundational agreements that we'll just highlight: shared leadership and self-governance. Each person is accountable and responsible for their part in the circle. The sacredness of all life is absolutely foundational. We must see all life as sacred and included in each circle. reciprocity and complementarity, the giving and receiving that happens in a circle dynamic is, again, self-perpetuating. And that self-perpetuation becomes, it becomes part of the cycle where giving and receiving are one. They're the same. And the complementarity of it within the circle is that everyone in the circle has a voice, has a gift. And when those gifts are shared, each gift supports everyone else in the circle. Transparent communication. There's nothing to hide. There's so much as we move forward in our transformation process, we will become more telepathic, and it will be impossible to hide anything from anyone. So this is a commitment to cultivate transparent communication. Adherence to natural laws. We'll talk about the natural laws. Really understanding what those are allows us to adhere to them when we recognize that all life is sacred, and go and weave all of these foundational agreements into that commitment. All authority is distributive. There is no hierarchy in this system. So this is all about unity. Unity in action. What does that look like? How do we come together in common unity with each other and act as one for the greatest good of all? We honor that all voices matter to the health and well-being of the whole. Governance by consensus through 13 unified councils of the new earth. Consensus means that everyone in the council must agree before we can move forward. It's not just a model. This is a living system. The reason why there are 13 councils of 13 people is it's not really complicated, but it's too long to go into all of it. So I'm not going to put a lot of emphasis on that right now. So we'll just move on to some of the other key principles. The reformation of community, the reformation, and in this case, the rebirthing of new community systems. It is time to breathe back life into the systems that govern life. In governance, in justice, in education, agriculture, healthcare, economy, and more. I mean, there's every domain that we deal with on a day-to-day basis needs to be reconfigured, restructured. Because the age of control and profit-driven agendas has run its course. It no longer works. It's burned itself out at all levels. And so now we come together in unity of purpose to cultivate a network of life-sustaining systems. The bees know how to do this. Nature knows how to do this. We have forgotten something. And this is a remembrance process that brings us back to that very remembrance. Each system is designed to support and strengthen the others and to nurture and nourish all life within this web of interconnection. Recognizing that because of this interconnection, what we do to ourselves, we do to each other and all of nature, and vice versa. Forming councils and circles as the foundation of the new system. Why would we do that? What is the purpose of this? Well, what we talked about before as that light at the center, that singular point that existed before anything else existed, back in the origins of time. The quotation from the Kabbalion here is very powerful, but basically what it says is the voices of the council and circle members are intended to inherently include and represent those whose voice is not typically heard: nature, the elements, Mother Earth herself, and all peoples in equitability. So the people in the circles, the council members, are voices for all, for those who haven't found a way to share their voice yet, so that all voices matter. Since councils and circles are formed around pertinent issues rather than hierarchy, no circle holds authority over another. All decisions are guided by how life itself would restore balance and harmony in partnership with Mother Earth and the spiritual authorities, all the cosmic guides. Choices that achieve balance and those that do not are shared equally for the wisdom and learning they offer to all. So within the circle, anything goes. We share whatever comes to us, and not all suggestions will be taken into action. But we can learn from all of those suggestions so that when we do take action, we have the whole story, we have the whole picture, and we come from a whole place of understanding that is much deeper than it would be otherwise. So this is basically what the structure can look like, with the heart of love at the center as the 13th council. And then the other 12 councils each represent a domain of living, from education to cultural restoration to economic regeneration, a peace council, a restorative justice council, sacred union. That has a whole new life of its own, and it's really pertinent right now. The Sacred Arts Council, healthcare, agriculture, human rights, nature rights, and the restoration of all that has been compromised by the old patriarchal system. So every council, every circle, every committee within each council all serve one unified purpose. 13 councils, one purpose: to ensure that the network of governance across every ecosystem and community is operating effectively, equitably, and with full transparency, and the most important part is in service to life. All of these come together. All of them are interconnected. None of them are standalone. They all weave the light of healing. In service to life, what does that mean? It means the protection of all people, the safeguarding of every ecosystem, the honoring of all life within and beyond every ecosystem. Everything is sacred. All decisions spiral to one aim, and that aim is the realization of the purpose that we just talked about, the flourishing of Earth and all her relations. Everyone, every being has the right to flourish, and it is possible that we can live on this planet with that as our reality. And that's the goal. So going to the center, that circle of that council of love, it's about responsibility and accountability through the following of the guiding principles. The center council of love holds the frequency of responsibility and accountability for the whole, making each council member responsible and accountable for every decision that they make. And it's not that the center council is making them accountable, but it's ensuring that that accountability is in place at every level, from the watershed level to the global level. Decisions are made with respect for 7 generations to come. So the children are at the forefront of every decision that is made, going 7 generations and beyond, to make sure that every decision is going to continue to serve life for multiple generations. Guidance from biomimicry and directed dialogue through nature herself. Nature is just longing to communicate with humanity. And many of you are already doing that. And so this is a huge part of the foundation of this system. Creative, compassionate resolution of conflicting views. Conflicting views just reflect diversity. Diversity is a gift. And understanding those differences is key. And finding resolution and ultimate consensus is the goal. A commitment to unity through understanding and mutual support, which, I just mentioned that. So Living accountability. Again, accountability, responsibility are living, have a frequency of their own. There is no separation in accountability or responsibility. It's true for every single member of the circle, member of the councils. Every voice matters. It is heard, honored, and held as sacred. Each member serves as a bridge, a voice for the unheard. And the community members include the minerals, the plants, the animal kingdoms, the mother herself, all of nature. Every creepy crawler, every winged one, all life. And to serve this council is to be living relationship with the whole, as part of the whole, because we are. The Council of Love sits at the center of the other 12 councils. It's a source of wisdom and guidance and the spiritual authorities of creation. Members are chosen for their life experience and domain mastery, whichever council they partake in. There's a personal healing commitment to each continue to expand our own consciousness and connection to all that is. And integrity. I'm going to say this differently. Service to the earth with integrity, in that energy of integrity. Carrying that through everything that we consider. So the relationships between the Grand Council and the 12 topic-specific councils of 13 are all nested circles. And the sacredness, the participatory, it's like a reverent participatory relationship that each council member has with each of the other councils. It's collaborative, it's mutually honoring. It supports the flow from the center outward and from every corner of the earth back to the center. And I realize that, a circle doesn't have corners, but just every point along that. Even the smallest watershed circle may birth a discovery that transforms the whole. Because every one of those councils and circles from the councils is part of the whole. So we're talking about diversity again and council design, restoring biodiversity through diverse councils. To meet the challenges of our time, each council must reflect a multi-generational spectrum. It's gotta have diversity within each one. Diverse cultures, skills, and resources. The Council of Love serves as a model for the other councils, guiding 12 other regional councils of 13. There is no hierarchy, only reciprocity and complementarity. The councils with broader domains share wisdom, they share wealth, and they share empowerment with the many. Decision making is by consensus. We mentioned that. So we'll get into more of that, in future moments when we really start taking a deep dive into all of this. So the next part is naming the councils and the related circles and how each of those councils contribute to this greater whole and the system the new system for the new earth. So one of the councils is the restoration of natural resources and ecosystems, the nestled circles and the focus areas. So each council develops little focus areas within that overall topic. So there's a biodiversity circle within the Restoration of Natural Resources and Ecosystems Council. The master plan to clean up toxic waste sites, to eliminate toxins from land, air, and water, to uphold the personhood of all beings, the rivers, the waters, to ensure that all waters fulfill their purpose to return to the ocean. Many rivers no longer are able to return to the ocean, so their purpose is thwarted. The waterway circle, continuing the dam removal process that was started with the Klamath dams, the 4 that were taken down, and life has been restored to that river. Natural purification of surface and groundwater in a natural way, not by adding chemicals. That just doesn't make sense. A water is life circle, where equitable access to clean drinking water is a key, rooted in reciprocity and complementarity in everything that happens in that circle, in that water is life circle. Even a transportation circle, because transportation has been a huge contributor to water pollution. So research and implement free zero-emission transport systems powered by renewable energy and love, so that we can stop adding the contaminants to our environment. Education. We won't have time to go through all of these, but the education reorganization circle will have a circle process circle to reintroduce the circle process for communicating, learning, and healing. The circle is a return to our original form of community, as well as a leap forward to create a new form of community. That's in Christina Baldwin's book, called The Call of the Circle. That's not quite it, but but that's an amazing book if you want to know more about circle process. The qualities of that circle process are sanctity, witnessing, inclusivity, and putting spirit always at the center and focusing on that. And then there's a science of healing and technology circle, a K through 12 curriculum, a higher education curriculum, writing a whole new purpose and philosophy of education is necessary at this time, because the education is not serving our youth. So again, there's education in medicine, education. I mentioned the philosophy and the advanced education, a global remembrance circle that is designed. It's designing a healing education path to restore each person's awareness of their unique value and their natural desire to contribute goodness to the web of life. In some cases, AI is fascinating. It can be used for either good or not so good. And so that would be to use the technologies that we have always for the highest good for all life. So I'm going to just do a check-in here. I'll just leave this slide up for a moment. The Cultural Restoration Council is critically important for the healing that needs to happen on the planet right now with indigenous peoples and so many levels of that for generations, and the ancestral healing that is necessary. But that's part of all of this as well. I'm just going to check in with you, Brigitte, and see if you want to ask any questions at this point, if I should continue.
I think we have plenty. We always have plenty of questions, but never enough time. It was absolutely fascinating what you're presenting here, and you touched upon so many aspects that are so important. It almost sounds like a blueprint you're creating here, from the energy flow that comes from and returns to the center, to shared leadership, self-governing, honoring the sacredness of life, reciprocity, transparent communication, diversity is a gift. I absolutely agree. And I agree with all of what you're saying here. And I just thought, since we don't have that much time, I was just thinking, so, you emphasize so many different aspects. Can you give an example, maybe even out of your own life, how does this translate into everyday life?
Maybe absolutely. Absolutely, yes. And that's a great question. So thank you for asking it. It does start with self-awareness. And there have been so many moments in my life that I have been blessed with guidance that have helped me to transcend challenges and come out of it on the other side stronger than ever. Just one example. There are so many, but But one example is that I've experienced a lot of death of loved ones in my family, and 3 siblings and some of my best friends. And I mean, it goes on and on. And my mom just died 2 months ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry about
And
that.
well, thank you. Thank you. But in the process of all of that, when I have a sister who died at 25 in 1987, and when she died, I couldn't reconcile it. She had cancer. The treatments didn't go well, and basically it spread the cancer throughout her whole body, and she was gone in 6 months. And I pretty much fell apart over that. And what I decided, what brought me back from that, was that if anyone who is on the planet changes the life for the better of even one person while they're here, then their life has been worthwhile.
Mhm.
And I knew that I don't have control over anyone else but me. So I said, if I am that one person that is better and stronger and more loving and more caring because she came and left, then her life was worthwhile. And I know that she fulfilled her purpose. So I made a vow to be that. And then a few years later, a brother died, and a few years after that, a sister died. And each time I amped up, it's like I turned up my dimmer switch each time to be more loving. Each time I lost someone that I loved. And I've been working in hospice for over 10 years because I realized that because I gained so much from experiencing deep challenges of pain and loss, I was able to turn it into beauty, because now I help people to do the same. I help people to find that purpose of the challenge. And it's very rewarding to work in that, at that level, with people, and helping them to cross over, having transcended fear, and their light when they leave the planet is so much brighter because they didn't have all that resistance in place, and they weren't pushing against the death. They were allowing their next rebirthing rather than seeing it as a death. So that's one example I can give, but we can all do that.
Yeah, no, but it was a beautiful example, and also actually answered, one of my other questions, which I originally had. It's like, to what step can you take to turn, your own pain into beauty? But you just answered that question. You gave a wonderful example in that. It's, and I'm sure, it probably requires, a lot of, I don't know if learning is the right word, or experience or self-awareness to probably go, to start on this path. And because, we all experience pain in our life, and I don't think it's very easy to turn this into beauty. So I must tell you, in that respect, I mean, just from that, it's so important. It's so important what you created here. And again, it's not only a course, it's a blueprint of how to live.
A
So it's
living
absolutely beautiful.
blueprint. Yes.
It's a living blueprint, absolutely. So that's absolutely fascinating. And so it's deep. It's really it's so moving, and I'm really happy to have you here to talk about these things.
And I just want to say too that every challenge that we've ever experienced, no matter how painful it is a catalyst, is given to us as a catalyst of remembrance.
But we don't see it like this, right?
It's hard to see the
All of
forest through
us
the trees.
resist, all of us resist. I
Exactly.
think, I had this conversation with others as well. These are conversations everyone probably had. It is so difficult. We are not taught in our society to verbalize pain and communicate pain, and we are also not taught how to deal with pain.
That's right.
So we all of us resist it, and not all of us, but many of us do resist it, and it's right. It's it's probably more important to step in and turn it into something. Or in your case, as you just mentioned here in this session, to turn this into beauty, and So that is absolutely impressive. I mean, and I can't wait to hear more. But again, unfortunately, we have to close here at some point,
Yeah.
unless you would like to add something here. But what we have to pick up on this conversation again another time. So, and I'm very, very happy for our audience that you presented this here. It's really important. It's a really, really important, and it's an important course. And maybe you want to tell us where our audience, our viewers can find this course. How can they, if they're interested in
Well,
taking and be, go ahead.
yeah, basically I've gone through one part of the course. In the beginning, the first 2 to possibly 3 months is all focused on that self-awareness and in the internal healing and purification that is necessary, because we can't create something pure if we're not there. I told somebody once they had tried over and over and over again to create a conscious community and failed every time. And I said, you just can't create a conscious community with unconscious people. So
And you're right. It always starts with hearts, right? But I think, as every human is always, no matter in what context, we're always inclined to change the other, right?
That's right.
It's human nature. It's not like this, that we start within ourselves. Which is interesting. I don't even know why, but and I think we all experience this, and it's true. You can't change yourself. I absolutely agree with you. But again,
so if anyone is interested in learning more, my name is Debra Emmanuelle. I think it's on the screen somewhere. Oh, by my picture. And it's debraemmanuelle@gmail.com with no spaces or anything in between. And my website is sedonasoulintegration.com. Right now, like I said, I've taught one version of this and a shortened version of it. And I'm in the process of another course that is now closed because there's relationships built. But I'm happy to teach this for groups, for just let me know. And organizations have a huge role to play in all of this. So at any level, I'm here to teach.
And thank you so much. So before we close here, so we are promoting the hashtag urgency for action, and that's urgency, the number 4 in action. So hashtag urgency for action. And we're using this in all our activities, and we invite everyone to share this. And obviously, we also like people to take action. And this is a question which you partly already answered, but just for final close up for our audience today, what is one step they can take right now to begin turning their own pain into beauty and contribute to the new earth? Just Absolutely. To round this up again.
And to repeat again, it all begins with self.
Yeah.
To be willing to feel, whether it hurts or not, to accept that that is part of your process of opening, and remembering that when our heart feels like it's broken, it's meant to break open, not closed. When we close our hearts because of pain, we actually seal the pain in, and it can't get out. So if we allow them to break open, then light can come in and support us in the healing. We don't have to do this alone. We aren't intended to do this alone. There is so much support for us when we stay open and curious. If a challenge comes to us, just go into your little child mode and say, wow, I wonder what this is here for. I wonder what this is helping me to understand. That's so much healthier than saying, oh, why me, not again. There's a big difference in our response. So
That's true.
Yeah, just be aware of self. It all begins with you, and each person is an integral part of this process that we're in.
I agree. Thank you so much, Debra.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure and honor to have you here. Thank you for sharing your profound wisdom and vision and your course and your blueprint to live. And so it's not that you call it like this, but that's what I feel like it almost is. It's like a guide to co-creating, which is not a dream, it's possible.
Yes.
And as you just mentioned, it begins with us, and and beyond this in our communities, and in order to create, turn pain into purpose and beauty. I absolutely agree with you. So before we again close here, I'd like to mention the We Power campaign. It's about the power of we. Millions of us are coming together to transform our society. And Debra is one wonderful, amazing example. So it's for us to prioritize the common good. To help us launch the We Power campaign, please go to we.net/We Power campaign. So thank you so much again, Debra, for joining us here today. And may we each carry forward the spirit of self-awareness, of connection into our daily lives, and that we build bridges and create a better world. So thank you, all of you, for watching this and for being part of 11 Days of Global Unity. To get involved, go to we.net. And it's all about we. So what we do in our organization, we go from a me society, and I can't get the screen here, to a we society. That's why Rick Olfig, our founder, created We the World. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.